Secrets hidden in the cosmos. What do the heavens say about Sean Combs' latest scandal? From Mars in retrograde to a turbulent Saturn return, his chart reveals more than just fate. Join us between dimensions as we uncover how the universe may have influenced his darkest hours.
Hi, and welcome to Between Dimensions. I'm Monica Gonzalez, an astrologer and spiritual advisor. And as you saw from the intro, we're talking about Diddy today. It's gonna be a doozy. No sound bowls today. I have wine. Happy Thursday, all. Cheers. So, for those of you who don't know, Diddy was arrested and he has been charged with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And I decided to do a video on this because on Tuesday, November 19th, the day that Pluto entered Aquarius, as per my first video, at 3:40 p.m., I came downstairs and I put on the TV. And I went to my favorite YouTube channel, Law and Crime, and saw that there was an emergency hearing for the Diddy trial. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, divine timing. This is absolutely insane that right as Pluto enters Aquarius, there is an update on the Diddy trial. So of course I had to watch it. And just to give you guys a quick summary of what the hearing was all about, basically, there was a search and seizure on Diddy's cell, his jail cell. And there was documents that were taken and given to the prosecution. And basically, defense filed a motion for this emergency hearing, claiming that the prosecution had taken documentation that infringed on Diddy's right to attorney-client privilege. Now, this is a big deal. This isn't like, oh, so what? Who cares? They took a pad. No, like this is a fundamental part of all American rights. It's to support, having a fair trial. And I was really concerned that maybe the judge might see that this was such an infringement on our rights that the judge would want to just toss out the whole case. And where would we be with that? We'd have another Epstein situation on our hands where the public doesn't find out what's going on. There is no light being shined on the criminal activities that are happening around us, and no one's being held accountable, which would have tossed all of my feelings and beliefs on astrology out the window because this energy is all about that. It's about accountability. It's about holding people accountable for their actions, especially when those actions are a crime against humanity. Now, let me just say that these are all allegations. Diddy is still innocent. He has not been found guilty. His trial doesn't happen until May 5th, 2025, which I'll be there for. And as much as I am holding space for that, because I do not want to judge, I have no right to judge. I'm a human. He's a human. It's not my place. The jury will judge him. However, if you have not been following the trial, a few weeks back, there was a jail call that was leaked to the public. Now, some people claim it's AI. I don't know. It sounds legit to me, but who knows? But it's kind of crazy, this call. And I thought that it was crazy enough to talk about it, want to talk about it. So I thought I would share it with you guys now. So I'm going to share my screen so we could watch this Diddy call together.
Entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over for the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did Jay reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosted. What is doing? Hey, sweet now, because I'm in here. It's all good. You about to get out on bail. No. Hey, yo, check this out. Need you to reach out to the producer. Let these motherfuckers know there's a release date for that new Netflix movie. I ain't Bob. It's fucking crazy right now. Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have them last laugh. What about all these lawsuits though, Pop? Ain't none of them cheap shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. Bunch of money hungry. Not entertained.
So there was a lot there. If it's real, there was a lot there. It's like, don't think Diddy really cares about pizza boxes, so what's that about? Recycling plastic? Is he really into sustainability? I don't understand. Um, who's Jay that's ghosting him? Is it Jay-Z? And nothing's in his name? Like, if it's real, I think it's enough that there's something there that we need to shine a light on. Now, if it's fake and Diddy's completely found innocent, then I will apologize for what I'm about to do. Um, I, as an astrologer, it is completely unethical to share an astrology reading. However, in this Pluto Aquarius energy, we need to shine a light on anything that can that needs to be shown. And I feel called to provide my own natal reading on Diddy's chart. So that's what I'm about to do. That's what I'm going to share with you guys. Um, so let's get started. Please note that this is not based on facts. This is just my opinion. This is just my reading of his natal chart. Diddy was born on November 4th, 1969, roughly around 10:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which puts his sun in Scorpio in the 10th house. And when I saw that, I laughed. I couldn't help it because it makes perfect sense. He's Scorpio. Like Scorpio is all about passion. It is intensity. It is sex. It is control, So when I saw that, I was just like, of course, the stars already with the bang say, tell me exactly who this man is. Now, granted, I'm not saying that every Scorpio does the things that Diddy does. I'm not saying that they're bad. As we go through this chart, you're going to see that there's specific other planetary and celestial body placements and aspects that kind of round out who Diddy is as a person. But I just had to laugh because I was like, oh my God, of course he's Scorpio. I should guess that. So he is a Scorpio in his 10th house. His 10th house, or the 10th house, is symbolic of career. So again, obviously, you have your sun, which is a celestial body that is indicative of yourself as who you are in this world. It is Scorpio, which is passion and intensity in the 10th house of career. So right away, we're told by the astrological chart that he is going to be ambitious. Unfortunately, his sun does square his vertex. So let me pull up his vertex. Now, what this means is vertex, vertex is a point of fate. It is a turning point in your life. So it's very important to look at your vertex. And a square, as indicated here, hopefully you can see my cursor, is a point of tension. It is a negative aspect that shows where there can be struggle or tension or a place to learn and grow from because it's something you might have to overcome. And with a sun square vertex, as we're shown here, it signifies a struggle between one's ego and one's destiny. And I think that's what Diddy is going through right now. It is his ego and his destiny, which The vertex here is placed in his eighth house, and the eighth house is the house of sex and intimate relationships and the taboo, which I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot believe that the stars are telling us this like right away. Sun square vertex, right? Okay. Also within his 10th house, we have the planet of Mercury, which is communication. Let me just put that on the chart. And we have the part of fortune. So again, the 10th house. So you can see those right here that have just populated on the chart. 10th house being the house of career, Mercury being the planet of communication and part of fortune, which is indicator of your like where you're going to see success, all in his career house. So all in Scorpio, which is his sun sign, which is his self, which is his ego. So right now the stars are already telling us like this person with this astrological chart is going to be a force to be reckoned with, right? Again, though, with these placements, we have to look at aspects, and his Mercury right here is opposite Saturn. So let me put up Saturn and square Mars. So Saturn is the house of discipline, and Mars is this house, Saturn is the planet of discipline, and Mars is the planet of, it's the warrior planet. It is brave, courageous, assertive, it's action oriented. And the squares are, as I explained over here, where it's tension, and an opposite is basically the same thing, but like generally more intensified. So an opposite, so he is opposite discipline. Here is another area where you're going to see like tension and struggle. And these aspects would make Diddy or any person with these charts, with these, sorry, that's my puppy. She's growling at a dog. Would make anyone assertive and argumentative, right? And his part of fortune here is squares Lilith. So let me put Lilith on the chart. So here's Lilith. Lilith is an part of our chart that is in an indicator of our more animalistic urges. So again, we're talking about sex. We're talking about when we're quick to anger. We're talking about when we're triggered. And this aspect of part of fortune squares Lilith is an indication that someone who has these placements are going to face challenges that are going to related to expressing a wild and rebellious side. So we're talking about the freakouts here, you know? It's just like this is basically saying like there's going to be freakouts because he has this tendency to want to be wild and rebellious and throw off societal norms. He has a deep inner turmoil and he's going to battle with his perspective. So basically, what that means is he is going to justify his actions basically with this aspect right here of part of fortune square Lilith. When you know we all, or for those of us who follow the case, you may have seen the video of Cassie Ventura being assaulted in the elevator bank in a hotel by Diddy. Horrible video. I don't recommend watching it, but you know, that is part of this tension. He is going to justify his actions. He's going to say she deserved it. She's gonna say like it wasn't that bad, but in reality it is, and it's gonna be a struggle for him to maintain that perspective. So now that we've talked about the 10th house, we're gonna move over to his first house where Mars is placed. And the first house is the house of self. So again, we're talking about his self and we're talking about Mars, which is this assertive warrior. So we're being told again by the stars that this person with these aspects, with these planetary positions is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like they're going to get the job done. They're hardworking. They are not afraid to speak their mind. They're going to do what they have to do to get what they want. Very ambitious. And we have two aspects here. Mars sextile Neptune. So let me pull Neptune into the chart. And this is the first time we're going to see positive aspects in his chart. So Mars sextile Neptune. Neptune is this planet of mysticism and spirituality. And so Mars sextile Neptune, a sextile is a positive aspect that synergizes the two energies. So anyone with this aspect is going to symbolize someone who has a very like a magnetic aura. So it's like maybe an aura that is people are just drawn to because it's mysterious and they don't understand it. Again, something that's going to lead to this man's success. You know, people are just drawn to him. However, we have Mars opposite Lilith, and that's, like I said before, a negative aspect. So Mars opposite Lilith is the opposition results in internal conflicts and challenges. So right here where we see Mars opposite Lilith, he is probably like struggling within himself to understand why he does the things he does. And you know, again, it's that energy of like justifying it, but not really sure if he's justified. So, you know, he shows a lot of internal struggle. And with internal struggles, usually that will trigger something in someone to make them lash out and do the things that Diddy has done or allegedly done. Okay. Now let's move on to Lilith. As I mentioned, Lilith is this primal energy, animalistic energy. It's our lizard brain. It's the part of ourselves that just reacts. It's fight or flight. And it's in the seventh house of romantic relationships. This is the seventh house is where marriage lies and love partnerships lies, however you want to think about love partnerships, you know? So here, Lilith's placement in the seventh house stirs up feelings of vulnerability and could lead to struggles with power dynamics in relationships. Again, talking about Cassie, you know, like, and Kim Porter, you know, he probably had these very tumultuous relationships with these women, including J Lo, you know, although there's speculation that that might not have been a real relationship, but um, it tends to manifest as unexplored sexual desires that are linked to playing with boundaries within the sexual context. So, in terms of the freakouts, you know, he probably pushed the boundaries on a lot of this stuff. Did, um, he probably did things that people weren't comfortable with, but they allowed him to because of all these other placements where he's charismatic and magnetic and mysterious. They allowed this Lilith energy to do what it does. Um, so that's that. Let's move on. So then we go to the eighth house. And as I mentioned with the vertex, the eighth house is the house of sex, where we know has a lot of activity for Diddy. And along with his vertex, he also has his moon. Now, the moon is the sign of emotions. So when the moon is positioned in the eighth house, the person with this position is likely to be short-tempered, emotional, stubborn, self-centered, and very moody. Now, I don't know if you guys heard of, I think her name is Aubrey O'Day. I just want to make sure that I'm saying that right. Um, Yes, Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane. She mentioned that it was a little bit difficult to work with Diddy because you never knew which Diddy you were going to get. And that's a difficult um, personality to deal with in a workplace setting. So he was probably very moody. He's going to have a difficult time with forgiveness. He's going to hold grudges and resentment. And disloyalty is like mega for him, you know. Again, these were not charges brought against him, but there are rumors that he may have had a hand in the Biggie murder, uh, and supposedly that there's rumors where Diddy thought that Biggie was going to go out on his own and leave his record label. And disloyalty is huge for him. Huge, huge for anyone with these planetary placements. So, along with disloyalty and moodiness and stubbornness and short-temperedness, it's also a big indicator for those who have a very strong interest in the occult. Now, I have also heard from people coming out in social media say that some of the freak out parties may have had satanic um, vibes to it. Don't know how true that is. Obviously, this is all just rumors and not factual, and I don't believe there's any real evidence out there. We probably won't know till the trial, but not surprising with this placement here, with a moon in the eighth house of sex, where there's, the moon is emotional, and the eighth house is all about intimate relationships, where someone can be very fascinated and interested in occult and taboo ideas. So, sorry, just looking at my notes. So we have, again, within the eighth house, we have the vertex, the point of faith, and the point of faith in the house of sex and intimate relationships. And this is a very karmic position. So it's not surprising that this turning point in his life, he has had a life where he has created all the success, all this wealth, created, this culture around him. He's been an icon. I mean, I'm a child of the 80s. It's like you you didn't grow up without hearing, a Diddy song like on the radio all the time. Biggie was a huge um part of my developmental period, and he has, had this fortune up until now. And it is, again, not surprising that it is within this house, this eighth house, that his point of fate is in, which makes me want to believe that that he may not come out of this. If he has done these things, he's not going to come out of it unscathed. This is going to impact him. This is going to rock him. This is the turning point of his life, and where he has seen all the success as indicated by his sun and his Mercury and his Neptune and his Mars placements. Now it is this turning point where his moon and his Lilith are going to come, and you know uh, karma's a bitch, so we'll see what happens. May 5th, guys, May 5th. It's crazy. And finally, just to round out this natal reading, I can go way deeper. If you look on this side, this is literally all the aspects of his chart. So like there's so much more in this, but because I don't want to make this a 30-hour video, we're just gonna like round it off with the last few planets. So we have here the rest of his planets are really in his ninth house here. So let's put him up there. We've got Venus. So we got Jupiter in his ninth house. We got Venus in his ninth house. And we got Uranus in his ninth house. These are all like very positive signs. The ninth house is the house of travel and higher education. These were all very positive things in his life. I saw that Diddy went to Howard University for 2 years and then left Howard University. I would venture to guess that something in those 2 years, his 2 years where he was at Howard, something happened where he found his calling. I read that it was within those 2 years that he was throwing these huge parties, and these parties would get thousands of people, and that is probably what catapulted him to realize like his strength and his power, as the Scorpio that he is. And so I seeing these placements here in his ninth chart of higher education, I'm pretty sure something in those 2 years at Howard either his teachings taught him his strategy on how to become successful, or he made relationships that were karmic that would be successful, or he maybe these parties that he was rumored to have, or not rumored, sorry, that he was stated to have, was what really moved him to become a super successful star that um, everyone knows about. Anyways, that is going to be it for his natal chart reading for today. I don't want to, continue going because there's just literally so much more. It could be endless. Um, I hope that this chart reading shows that how much you can get out of a natal chart reading, and then you can put this natal chart against a transit chart. I actually tried to do that with his upcoming bail hearing tomorrow, Friday at 2 p.m. I wanted to see if there were any transits that would come up, that would give me an indicator of whether or not the judge was going to allow him bail or keep him in jail until his trial date of May 5th. Honestly, it was like a 50-50 split from what I'm hearing online from Law and Crime and other Autumn, please stop. Uh, from other sources, more than likely bail will be denied a third time. But and honestly, if he has done these things as alleged, then I hope he does stay in jail, because um, if he doesn't, I think he has the means and the motive to leave. I think he'll skip town. And again, Pluto entering Aquarius is all about accountability and breaking down these structures, and I think Diddy is playing a really big role in this, because it is seems to be one of the last vestiges and downfalls of basically the Hollywood elite. And if it does come to show uh, that he is found guilty of these things, and the names of the other people who were complicit in these actions come out, I mean, I think it's going to rock our world. I think we're going to be shocked of how many people we looked up to were doing these nefarious things. And basically, Pluto's doing its job of highlighting these atrocities and breaking this toxic system down to hopefully rebuild it back in a better way with the help of the Aquarian energy, and building back a better world because we need it. We deserve it. We need it. I think we all know it. I think that's why we're all like pushing for this. And that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, so you can find me Between Dimensions. If you want your own natal chart reading, which I will not share with the world, let me know. You can DM me or email me at betweendimensions111@gmail.com. And have a wonderful night. Bye.